What in the world have you taken? One could believe that you're experimenting with new warfare agents.
Ah, no. I'll just take an anti-nausea pill and everything will be fine.
Your chip card, please. Well, look here. A visitor from the upper level. And to what do we owe this honor?
He has android material of an unidentifiable origin.
Which I also need to scan. He's clean too. Just traces of disintegration and whatever else he picked up during his accident. No explosives, no bugging devices, no drugs. You may pass.
There we are. You are currently in the most highly protected lab in the Academy. Everything here is highly confidential, but feel free to look around a bit. Robotics 2. My colleague works there. Perhaps you'll meet him somewhere along the way. So, this is the room where the prototypes are examined and the endurance tests are conducted. Durability, stability, positronic computing power, and so on. It's almost completely automated, standard routines. Then again...
And what happens here?
Whoa! You can't go in there. I mean, you can't just walk right in like that. That's the Fuels and Explosives Department. The internal one, for our own developments. Applied research, so to speak. The guys who work there are freaks, but that lab is really well secured.
Okay, I understand. And how do I get to Mortal from here?
That's the transmitter which will take you directly to Martel's office. The Paternoster, we call it. Without his blessing, nobody can go up there or come down. That thing has an acoustic lock that reacts only to Martel's voice.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, the only way to see Mortal is with a personal invitation from him. And where do these gateways lead to?
That's one of the 2 gateways to the main hangars. They're like big storage depots where we assemble large pieces of equipment and get them prepared for the field tests. It's all completely secure and absolutely sterile, and personally supervised by Mortal himself. Welcome to my humble quarters. Make yourself at home while I take a look at your little friend here. But please don't take anything with you. And don't touch anything either.
Okay.
Right. Let's see what you want to tell me, little buddy. The boss? I only saw him very briefly today. He's got some very important appointment, strictly confidential. I don't really know anything about him as a person. That's one of the large experimental labs. The womb for each newly developed android, so to speak. Speaking of which, do you really have no idea who constructed the android that matches that head?
Not the slightest idea. That's why I'm here.
I understand. Well then, let's keep searching. Swoonian minuscules? I can't do anything with those. I'm a technician, not a positronics specialist.
If I show these to someone, I'll just make myself suspect. Firstly, I'm not a bionic, and secondly, that machine requires a permit. Unfortunately, poor Laszlo doesn't have one. I'll need to equip my fake identity with more authority soon.
Ah, the great Dean. We have to go and service his flying coffin from time to time. It's not a pleasant task, more like running the gauntlet.
The robot head is fixed in this laser field. I can't just reach in there with my hand, and I'd have no idea how to get it out of there. But I'm sure that nice Mr. Huber will give it back to me later.
Hands off! Those are the controls for the experimental lab. Oh, those are just empty boxes for spare parts, but please leave them there. Who knows when they might come in handy. Yeah, please excuse the mess, but we hardly ever have visitors in here. Most of that stuff is components and spare parts for our developments. Some of it really is just worthless junk, though. That's our new baby. The greatest super drill of all time. A totally new technology with active matrix scanning. No material out there is too hard for this drill. We completed the assembly process in the main hangar just last week. We're all looking forward to the test results. Just waiting for the final okay from the government.
The government?
Well, of course. That's a hyper-energetic super laser. It can cut super shuttles to pieces. A project like that requires the highest authorization from way up top. From the region himself, if you understand what I mean.
And why exactly don't I know anything about it?
Because you're not supposed to know anything about it, Laszlo. And when you leave this lab, you'll have forgotten everything you heard. Is that clear?
Of course.
A small energy charger. Now don't tell me you colonial Terrans have never seen anything like that before. But seriously, if you need to recharge something, feel free.
Can I recharge this little device here?
Of course. And what is that, remote control? Do you build models?
Well, not exactly. Who would have guessed? Bully Leclerc can finally be operated by remote control.
Listen, I'm not making any progress here. It just doesn't make sense. I'll have to ask my colleague over there. He's an Ara, and has spent a lot of time working on Archon. Perhaps he can shed some light on all this.
Immortals employed an Ara here?
I know what you're thinking. Never trust an Ara. But Narkal is much more of a scientist than a businessman. And if you give an ordinary Ara a piece of an unknown life form, he'll do almost anything for you. That's exactly how it is with Narkal and robot components. I'll just go over to him for a moment. Wait here. And please don't touch anything.
Well, great. The assistant used this to scan the robot head. I presume you can also use it to scan other things. Perhaps I can read some information from the lens using the scanner. Ouch! Man, that was hot. Since the anti-grav field is broken, I'll need something to put the lens on. This box seems to be a handy size. This positronic controls the assembly arms in the experimental lab. If I could reprogram them, I might be able to distract both assistants and have a look around here without being disturbed. If I put this box in here, that'll give me the right height, and even a flat surface to scan things on. Perhaps scanning the Supron will give me some useful information. It looks as if the laser has already been able to decipher something.
What's going on here?
The information matrix has been changed.
What kind of code is that?
No idea. Looks like ancient arcanite.